Welcome to Hallyu Cafe. Come in and let's have a chat. 여러분, 안녕하세요. Nikki입니다. Hi everybody, it's Nikki. Today I have a very straightforward kind of a Hallyu Cafe talk with you guys. We are going to talk about the Korean military. And what I mean by that is the enlistment process. Not really the process, but apparently recently there has been an increase in more K-pop fans, probably due to the effect of BTS having stellar time and doing amazing, and NCT coming over here more now. And all of that has kind of increased the K-pop popularity. But I've also found within that people questioning why, for example, Big Bang. What's happening with Big Bang right now? Why do K-pop groups just suddenly disappear and then come back, or just not come back at all, especially for male groups? So we're going to talk about the military service in Korea. And again, I just want to stress here that I am only talking about the Korean requirements. I'm not going to talk about Thailand, China, or anything like that. I'm focusing solely on Korea. So, this is more for the newer fans that have no clue about it, because I think a lot of older K-poppers, K-pop fans kind of know now. But again, if you have been liking and listening to K-pop for a long time, but have no clue what's happening with the military service in Korea, please feel free to listen, because you learn every day. So in Korea, all males have to go into the military. Even dual citizens. So if you're born in the US, but let's say your parents are Korean, which gives you Korean citizenship, you will have to do the Korean military service. Again, only males, females are excluded. So what Korea is a country that still has military conscription. What is conscription? Conscription means compulsory enlistment for the military. Now let's say in simpler terms that are even understandable for people that are not native English speakers. It means that all male citizens between the age of 18 and 35 have to perform 2 years of military service. Women are exempt. This is part of the Military Service Act of 1949, which was then implemented in 1957. Again, we all know Korea has some history with wars. World War II, North Korea. So this is one of the reasons or more likely is to have not a supply, but have a military force in place in case something happens again. So once a Korean man turns 18, they are enlisted in what is called first citizen service, but don't need to yet serve in the military. Once they turn 19, they have to undergo a physical exam to then determine whether or not they're even fit or suitable to enter into the military. There are 4 different stages or different outcomes of your physical exam. So if you're physically fit, suitable, and you can enlist into active duty. If you're good, you can enlist into active duty. That's what I was going to say. And then following that, come those that aren't capable of being active duty but are able to join the secondary service, which is almost like a supplementary service. Then after that, you have those that are incapable of performing the military service due to any diseases or illnesses, including mental illness. And these are exempt from the military service. They do not have to partake in that. Then the last category are those that can't be graded at the time. Like, let's say when they're 19, 18, and there's something going on in their life, an injury or an illness or something of that nature, they then have to be reevaluated within 2 years. Now let's go back to talking about dual citizenship. You can't get out of performing that. You cannot get out of doing your military service. Unless you do not want to be a Korean citizen. So if you revoke your citizenship for that, you don't have to. But being American or living in the US and you still have your Korean citizenship, but you're not going, in most cases, you are being called a deserter. And there have been cases like that too, where people have not enlisted, dual citizens, and they lost their Korean citizenship and have their rights revoked of ever entering that country again. So that happens too. So for dual citizens, you have to make up your mind whether or not you want to keep your Korean citizenship or if you want to just get rid of it. But don't just not go and enlist. When I lived in Korea, I've met a lot of people that lived in the US all their lives, but came to Korea to do their service and barely spoke Korean or spoke enough Korean. But that happens. You still have to do your military service as a male. So the lengths also vary depending on what military branch you go in. For active duty, if you are active duty Army or Marine Corps, you are serving 21 months. If you're in the Navy, you are serving 23 months. And for the Air Force, it's 24 months. Non-active duty or the supplementary service personnel will serve different lengths, varying between 24 and 36 months. However, you probably have noticed that idols kind of start the military service much later than 19. So they were able to delay their service because they're idols. Like for Big Bang, for example, they've just went in most of them this year, like GD, Taeyong, and Daesung went in this year. And T.O.P went in a few years back. But they're all towards their end of their 20s, beginning their 30s. Well, the thing is, this is not going to be able to happen anymore. Idols can no longer delay their military service. And the reason being is there was a new amendment added to the Service Act. And it was by the Military Manpower Association, which introduced this new amendment to make things more fair for all male in Korea. So all male who fall under the categories of singer, actor, dancer, DJ, model, other broadcasting personalities, including trainees. So if, let's say, you are a trainee at SM, a male trainee at SM, but you are 18, 19, you still have to go in. So that includes you in this amendment. So any of those born between January 1st, 1980 and December 31st, 1999 have to now submit their personal information to the MMA. MMA again stands for Military Manpower Association. And they are now managing the enlistment of celebrities. So now if the MMA calls you or your agency or whoever their contact information is, and they're saying, here's your enlistment, or you get a paper and here's your enlistment, this is your start date, there is no way of you saying, oh no, I can't do that, I have a tour to go on. That's not happening anymore. So once you get your enlistment in, or the idols, I should say, get their enlistment in, they have to go. So maybe now you kind of understand, well, there's older fans that are already worrying about groups that have, male groups that have guys in it that are in that age range where they should serve. For example, NCT again, there are 24-year-olds, 22-year-olds. So they're all in that age where they should have served already. Or 101, there's all these male groups that are right in that prime age of military service. And once MMA calls them and says, let's just give an example, Taeyong, here's your enlistment. You have to go whatever in a month or two. He will have to go. There is no saying, I can't do this because I'm busy with whatnot. He will have to go in. So you can understand, fans, now why there's this talk of military in fandoms, or sometimes the talk of the military service is completely just doesn't exist in the fandom because no one wants to think about it. Because a lot of times either the group performs with that one less person, or in some cases, if it's multiple people that are in their military service time, they will put the group on hiatus, which in some cases, your contract gets renewed and it just kind of starts right back up after the military service. But there's also cases where the group just disbands. So it's like an unknown time, those 2 years. Also, it's 2 years where for a lot of people, they say, oh, I won't get to see my bias for 2 years, their favorite idol. That's how it is. There's barely any pictures or whatnot, and most of the pictures are from fans that see them on the street when they're on military break. So that's kind of what the reason is why groups just suddenly disappear. I mean, there's definitely groups that disappear for other reasons, but military service is one of the main reasons, I think, that groups go on hiatus or disappear from the face of the earth. Like Big Bang is kind of on a hiatus now, and it's only Sangri that still has to go in at the end of the year. So he will still go in. So it's like this whole span of 2 years where you will pretty much hear nothing from Big Bang. So again, Korea has a mandatory, I say mandatory, I think compulsory military service, where all males between the age of 18 and 35 have to go serve in the military, physical exam at 19 to see what branch or whether or not you're fit in to serve, and then they will serve those 2 years and then come back and continue living the rest of their lives. Again, there are some exceptions to this, like gold medal winners have to do some service time, I believe. They have to do their basic military training, but then they have to do other services instead of doing the full 2 years. They have to do every so often they have to go into training or whatnot. So there are some, special treatments, I guess, if you win a gold medal during the Olympics. But other than that, there is no delaying your time anymore. If MMA calls for your enlistment, you will have to go in. Or again, the idols, the DJs, the actors, whoever, the males will have to go. So for you who are new, this is what's happening. If you didn't know, you are welcome. If you're new, I am sorry that you will still have to go through this phase of seeing your bias disappear. But it's just one of those things that Korea has. And I think that if you are a fan of K-pop and if you like Korea, you should accept its culture. So be open-minded with that. Just because maybe your culture doesn't have something like that doesn't mean you should badmouth what Korea has in a way. Just, be open-minded. And during that time, it doesn't mean that you can't support that group. You can still support them because the money they make during the military service is not a whole lot. I think they get around 200. I think my friend was telling me it was around 200 won or dollars a month. So you don't get paid very much to serve there. It's more like you're welcome that you can serve here. But again, I say it, accept the culture, understand the culture. You may not like it, but it is part of Korea and part of its culture. So just be open-minded and respect it. I think that's one of the main things we need in this world is respect for each other, for each other's cultures. And this goes for Korea too. If you like K-pop, especially, you should kind of try to understand Korean culture and be more aware of it, why certain mannerisms are there, or why certain things like this military service are within the Korean culture. You can like K-pop, but please understand the culture behind it too, behind Korea and all of that. Same as a lot of times other countries try to understand American culture more for Western artists and stuff like that. So it's just the whole respect and inclusiveness thing where I think is really important. So I really, really hope I kind of answered some of the questions for those who were unsure about what's going on with the military service and why is my group kind of gone? Why haven't I heard anything? I really, really hope I could answer that. And if there's any other things that you would like to know more about Korean culture or any other topic, food topic, I like food. I mean, really like Korean food. But if there's just something that you can't find an answer to on the internet or that you're unsure about, that you don't know who to ask, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I will look through them and I will try my best to answer your questions. And like I said, I've lived in Korea and I still have a lot of Korean friends that in case I don't know the answer, I can ask. So please feel free to ask questions. Feel free to leave topics that you would like me to talk about. I am more than willing to do research for you. So please, don't be shy. Talk. It's fine. Trust me. All right, guys. I hope you have an awesome rest of the week. And I hope I will see you on Sunday for K-pop Coffee Talk. A lot of exciting things have been happening this week so far. And it's only Thursday by the time you're hearing this. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye. Annyeong.